So Maha moms are making noise in an effort to take on pesticide companies they say are poisoning our food supply. In today's Working It Out with Anna Kooiman, we're going to be chatting about the latest battleground over whether pesticide companies can be blamed and sued for life-changing and even life-ending health conditions, despite the companies and the EPA currently saying they are safe. We got a big show for you today here on Working It Out with Anna Kooiman. And as usual, stay tuned until the very end because I'm going to be using my expertise as a certified personal trainer and women's fitness specialist to share a quick fitness tip that's working for my students right now. I'll be demonstrating ways to help you build your booty to banish tight hips and weak glutes because let's be real, not only are we carrying our kids around, we're carrying the weight of the world sometimes it seems. So this is definitely going to help and it'll help you with your posture too. Now, before we welcome to the show our guest, I want to share with you some of my latest reporting on this topic here on NewsNation to give you some background. Section 453 is being called a liability shield for pesticide companies. It's become a real political flashpoint for Maha moms who helped propel President Donald Trump into his second term. Now, critics say Trump's EPA and Republicans in Congress are siding with industry and failing to protect our food supply from toxins they insist can cause cancer. Bayer Monsanto, the maker of Roundup weed killer, has already paid $11 billion to settle claims, but still maintains its products are safe to use. Section 453 would give the EPA the final word. So essentially, if the agency rules glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup, is safe, states could not require their own warnings on the labels. So what's the impact here? That would effectively shut down lawsuits from plaintiffs who say they were never warned before developing life-altering illnesses. Now, pesticide lobbying has been fierce on both state and federal levels, and companies like Bayer are pushing to standardize labeling with only the EPA's conclusion. But Maha moms are pushing back just as hard. They're even accusing lawmakers of siding with corporate interests over public health.
Essentially, what this bill will do is it will grant manufacturers a liability shield. And what that means is that if someone was to get cancer from using their products or get sick from using their products, they will not be able to hold the company liable.
So as of now, the EPA says glyphosate is not likely carcinogenic. But since 2015, it's all a bit confusing because the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer has called it probably carcinogenic. Now, Bayer declined an interview, but in a statement tells NewsNation in part, growers and users need reaffirmation that states cannot impose labeling or packaging requirements in addition or different from the EPA's scientific conclusions. So Bayer is saying that everything is fine. It always has been, and that is their research that they stand behind. But some Make America Healthy Again groups are fighting to strip out Section 453. Now, they say if Republicans vote to include Section 453 as it's written right now, MAHA activists may change how they vote in the midterms. All right, let's get to it. Joining me today to dive deeper is that integrative nutritionist that you just heard from. Courtney Swan is a fierce advocate for clean living and the founder of Realfoodology. Her Instagram account and podcast are great to follow. Please welcome to the show, Courtney Swan. Hey there, great to see you.
Hey, Anna, so good to see you.
So you've said some pretty bold things about Bayer Monsanto along the way, and you've said about Section 453. You say it undermines state power and also silences victims. What do you mean?
What we're seeing right now is exactly what you just said. So the EPA is essentially saying, no, this doesn't cause cancer, but then we have the World Health Organization saying that it does. And what's happening is they are going with the EPA and they want to put labels on other products that say that these are not carcinogenic. And what this will mean if Section 453 goes through is that farmers, children being exposed to these chemicals, people that live in rural farming areas where they're getting this in their drinking water, if they get cancer, they're not actually going to be able to they're not going to be able to hold these companies liable.
It's not just cancer either. What are some of the other conditions that they've been sued over?
Um, Birth defects. Well, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is the number one thing, which
Is it?
is
Okay.
what they're really connecting it with. But we're also connecting it to birth defects. We also know that it's an antibiotic, so it's killing off all the good bacteria in our guts as well as in our soil. I mean, it's just it's wreaking havoc across our food system right now and our health.
Now, what do you say to the farm groups? Because there are big agricultural groups that have said that they depend on this and they believe in its safety, and changing anything would hurt their bottom line and potentially increase food prices for Americans. What do you say to them?
So I was actually just a conference this weekend with many farmers and ranchers that have started switching over to a regenerative model, which is working with nature instead of against nature. And I just want to tell not only the public, but also these farmers that may not know there's a better way. There's actually a way where you can cultivate a beautiful ecosystem where your land is thriving and green and beautiful and not dying. I just encourage everyone to watch Kiss the Ground and Common Ground. It explains more about this, and I don't have a lot of time to go into it. But essentially, there is a way to grow our food and to scale and to feed the world, doing it without these chemical inputs.
One thing that really stuck out to me when studying up for this story, and then now for this interview with you, is that glyphosate is, I mean, it's being found in our rainwater, even in breast milk. So if people are concerned about their exposure to glyphosate and its prevalence, what are some ways that moms who are watching right now could try to limit their exposure and their family's exposure?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, if you can, either find a good farmer that you can buy from locally that doesn't use glyphosate. There's an amazing company called fromthefarm.org, and they actually connect you with local farmers and ranchers that are near you where you can buy locally from. And it's a great way to put money back into the local farm system and give money directly to the farmers that are growing food the right way. Also, if you can afford it, buying organic is really imperative because by federal law, organic food is not allowed to be sprayed with glyphosate. Now, unfortunately, we are finding glyphosate in some organic food, but it is our best way right now to avoid it. If you are really concerned about budget, you can go to ewg.org and you can buy based off their Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. And every year they release a report showing you the foods that will most likely be most contaminated with glyphosate and least contaminated with glyphosate.
Right. So things like strawberries and blueberries and blackberries might be more prone to having it, I would imagine, than oranges and bananas with thick skins and peels.
Exactly. Yeah, and I will say that it is growing also in the soil, but yes, it generally speaking, if there is a like an avocado, for example, you don't have to worry about it as much because it's not being sprayed directly on the skin.
Yeah. Well, look, if the jury's still out on it, it is really confusing when you've got the EPA saying one thing and, what the World Health Organization is endorsing as another. It is all very confusing. But what would the exposure be like if somehow glyphosate was only used in the earlier stages of the crop and not just before it's picked? Would that help if there was, a compromise meet in the middle somehow?
Well, the concern there again, it comes back to the regenerative farming piece, and they speak about this a lot in those films that I brought up earlier. But you're actually killing off this amazing ecosystem that exists in the soil that we're just now starting to understand. And this ecosystem was designed by nature to feed our plants. And one of the things that we've been talking about a lot as a nutritionist is the declining nutrient density of our food. And the reason that's happening is because we're destroying the soil with these chemical inputs. So how can we use less chemicals and allow nature to do her thing and allow this beautiful thriving ecosystem of bacteria that actually the soil needs in order to give nutrients enough to the plants and so that we get enough nutrients in our food.
Yeah, and if we can go back to the political angle of all of
Yeah.
this, what are Maha moms saying? We spoke a bit about it, but if you want to dive a little bit deeper as we wrap things up.
What are they saying as far as they're unhappy
Yeah,
about
I
it
mean,
or?
and are you mobile? You seem to be mobilizing somewhat.
Yes. So I would encourage everyone to get involved with Moms Across America. Also, Glyphosate Girl on Instagram has great resources. We're constantly, all three of us are constantly posting about numbers you can call, emails you can email. Our voices matter and we need to be heard because they're voting on this. Well, the government's frozen currently at the moment, but they were voting on this sometime in November. And I will say this too. So Bayer, Monsanto, and all these chemical companies are being very sneaky right now, and they're basically trying to slide in wherever they can in the bill. So they're trying multiple angles. They're trying to get this voted in on the state level. They've already gotten through to a couple states. They're also trying to go federally through this Section 453, but they're also trying to slide this in the Farm Bill as well. So they're just trying to slide it in wherever they can get it voted in for. So if you can let your legislators and your senators know that you do not want this and to vote no on this, the more they hear from us, the more they hear that we don't want this, the more likely it is that it won't get voted in.
All right. So once again, Bayer Monsanto, they stand behind it. They say that it is indeed safe to use, and that's why they continue producing it and providing it. Courtney Swan, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Check her out, Real Foodology. Find her on Instagram, and she has a hit podcast too. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, mamas, as promised, don't go anywhere because right now I've got this quick fitness tip that's could potentially change your life, or at least your hips and your booty, for crying out loud. Did you know that weak glutes can lead to tight hips, back pain, and even poor posture? Well, here is a solution. Let's watch. Let's get after it. One of the biggest complaints I hear from moms as a certified women's fitness specialist, tight hips and weak glutes. So if you do have any hip pain, very often when you build that booty strength, you are going to get rid of that hip pain. So I'm going to offer 3 different exercises for you to try. You're going to take a couple of dumbbells. These are 15 pounds. Start slow and progress as you get stronger. If these are too heavy for you, then by all means, you can even just use your body weight. So our knees are tracking in the same direction as our toes. Our chest is up. Our abs are on. And to fire up the booty even more, think about driving a bit more through those heels. Good work. We're going to put one dumbbell down, hold the other. Hold this dumbbell at your chest. A lot of times fitness trainers will only do movements in this plane of motion. We want to go this way as well. So take that dumbbell up by your chest, sink down into that squat position. Lateral squat walk for 2 this way, and lateral squat walk for 2 that way. We'll keep it up here. And notice that outer glute, that side booty, is really starting to fire up even more. Last one. All right, final exercise. I told you this one is the best. So you're gonna pick up both dumbbells. Again, if this is too much for you, start slow, progress as you get stronger. Deadlift. Shoulders are back and down, packing them back and down. Micro bend in the knees. Let those dumbbells graze your shins. And come on up, flat back here. Inhale down, exhale lift. Same thing, drive through those heels to fire up that bum. Be sure as you come up, yes, you're squeezing your booty at the top, but you're not overarching your spine there, or you may actually cause back pain rather than getting rid of it. So there are 3 exercises that will help you to boost your booty, which a lot of moms want for aesthetic purposes, but also it's gonna help you get rid of that hip pain and the tight hips that you feel as well when you build that glute strength. My name's Anna Kooiman. Thanks for tuning in to Working It Out with me. And hey, stick around, follow for more tips. Okay, and that's a wrap for this week's episode of Working It Out with Anna Kooiman. A huge thanks once again to Courtney Swan for joining us and dropping some real knowledge bombs for us. Friends at home, if you loved this episode, make sure that you hit that subscribe button on NewsNation's YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. And find me on Instagram at Anna Kooiman. I share a lot of fitness tips and tricks there as well, and some behind the scenes fun from my NewsNation anchor life as well. Until next time, let's keep working it out, mamas. You got this.